service approximately 100,000 people. When I first came on the team, we probably averaged maybe 5 to 10 missions a year, primarily search warrants, occasional call-outs. So where in years past, we're averaging anywhere from 20 to 30 operations that we do. At a minute's notice, the guys that I work with are going to get called and we're going to go take care of business on some of the most stressful incidents that a police officer can deal with.
Because as a patrol officer, you're pretty much a first responder. As a first responder, you deal with situations and make them secure as best you can. There are some situations that you encounter as a patrol officer or first responder that you do not have the training or equipment or resources to accomplish the goal that we have set forth. As a SET member or special enforcement team member, you get that specialized training, you have that specialized equipment, and we have additional resources that as a patrol officer you do not have.
We've done a lot of work now with Border Patrol where they give us a little bit of something that's not in our toolbox. Some of the stuff that you saw out there on the open ground movements, that's not something that we would regularly do, but because so much of Yuma is part of that bombing range, we could be called out there to do a track on somebody for a various crime. So it's something we need to learn. Some of the horrific stuff that we get exposed to, child fatalities, homicides, things like that, those are the things I won't miss. I mean, it's part of the job, but, after a while it takes a toll on you. My biggest thing is my guys. Whether that's on my primary assignment or with the SWAT team, is ensuring that, they're going to go home safely to their families every day.
Welton, a small desert community nestled in the foothills of the Gila Mountains east of Yuma. For those on the outside looking in, this small farming town with a population of about 3,000 residents has historically been a peaceful community.
Welton is a small town. These people are pretty friendly.
But on June 2nd, 2011, Welton became clouded by darkness for one resident in particular. Linda Clatone. A madman went on a shooting rampage that may forever leave a void in the heart of this small town. Clatone, the target of a divorce gone bad, is the only victim who defied death.
He planned it for 5 years. That's what the detectives told me. He stalked us. So I know he planned it. He had several guns in the vehicle with him and a list.
Police received a call from a frantic woman just after 5 in the morning. It was Clatone. A gunman shot her multiple times. He was a familiar face to Clatone. 73-year-old Carrie Dice was her best friend's ex-husband.
I opened the door, and there's this person standing there. I couldn't see his face, and I thought it was my friend George at first, and I said, "George?" And then that's when I saw the gun come up, and I just slammed the door. When he shot, all I could feel is it slamming my face like a sledgehammer hit me. It hit me here, and that was the first one. Then he came in the house and shot me 5 more times.
Police say Dice then shot and killed 4 people around town, including his ex-wife, before driving to Yuma and killing prominent attorney Gerald Shelley. Dice shot Shelley inside his downtown law office. Shelley represented Dice's ex-wife in their 2006 divorce, which was his 5th.
He was a weirdo. And I always told her, there's something not right with that guy.
Police say Dice then drove back towards Welton, pulled over, and then shot and killed himself.
He stopped in the foothills for coffee before he came here. And then after he left here, he went and stopped for coffee in Welton because he had to wait till Teresa got to work.
Investigators believe Dice planned the murders.
Well, I've always been a really strong person, Even when I was a little kid, I was a strong person, and I have a strong will to live, I guess, because I got things to do,
U.S. Customs and Border Protection is watching over our border by air, land, and sea. The Yuma Sector Border Patrol has 17 Marine agents. They patrol up and down the Colorado River that runs between Andrade, California and Yuma, Arizona.
Usually our area of operations that we're constantly covering is from Morelos Dam, a little bit further past the ocean-to-ocean bridge.
Boat Patrol Director Robert Ochoa says many of the people they find here underestimate the river.
They don't know the dangers of the river. They don't understand the depth. A lot of them come across not knowing how to swim without any PFDs, any personal flotation devices or anything. They just get on a raft and try to make it across.
And there's structural dangers as well.
We have a lot of activity here at the corner of the dam where they'll come down to the edge of the water and try to swim across.
On the other side of the dam, they keep a close eye on activity and keep in constant contact with ground patrols in the area.
And then that side's Mexico. And this right here, kind of where the Colorado River starts to go, that's the international boundary.
Agent Zarate says land agents cover the area with ATVs and their vehicle barriers are an asset to securing this area.
If we're not actively patrolling,
Right.
then they can easily get away.
Ochoa says in the last 10 years, their presence on the water has made quite the impact.
They could continue walking straight up the river all the way into town.
Wow.
And that's no longer happening.
But it does keep smugglers in hiding.
And they can see us in the water, but we can't see them unless we get out on foot.
Wow, how often do you actually come out and get out on foot?
Every day.
Every day.
Every day. You can see shirts.
When smugglers are trying to get across the river, they'll tunnel through the thick brush, sometimes waiting in here for days before they make it upriver.
Basically, they cut out the reeds on the inside. It's so thick in some areas where they just cut up holes and they can actually walk through those holes covered in the reeds into areas like this where they can just float across. And I think the opening we looked at was straight across from here.
So their best bet is to get out on foot.
And that's what we want. We want them to stay out of the water.
And to patrol at night.
With night vision goggles, we can see everything along the water, anything that produces heat, we'll see it. We can see them looking at us on the riverbanks. So that's a great advantage for us. Priority goes to anybody that's in the water, anybody that may be drowning, doesn't know how to swim. Everything else is secondary to that. We'll just sit there and wait. If we see anything float across, we'll notify land units and have them prepared to apprehend them on land.
Today we have a canoe trip that's going on the Colorado River. This is organized by the City of Yuma, the Parks and Recreation Department, and this is one of our monthly trips.
Well, we're coming over here, a gal pal and I, to do the canoe trip. There are so many fun and exciting neat things to do in Yuma. You have water, you have desert, you have mountains, you have a number of environments that allow you to go out and sightsee.
These are growing in popularity. We have a great time out on the river. Well, I think it's great. This is such a unique resource to have a river in the desert. I'm just delighted to offer these trips and to be part of it. Getting people outdoors and getting kids to experience nature here in Yuma is just a wonderful opportunity to share how unique the outdoors really is. And Yuma has some great things to offer to people.
It's not, is there anything to do? It's a matter of what do I want to do? You know, what do I have time to do? Or you could stay busy 38 hours a day.
There are just so many unlimited things to do here. I expect to continue coming to Yuma. It's the best.
Ready, aim at the guy with the gun, fire!
We're reenacting actually what might have happened here in 1861-62. It didn't because the Confederates never got to Yuma. So we're sort of saying, well, what if they did? And get here with at least a small force on the General Sibley, who actually had been stopped at the Gloria de Pass in New Mexico. And so this battle was actually never fought, but we're kind of fast forwarding into history and saying, well, what if they did? What would have happened? What a lot of people don't know is that Arizona was kind of pro-secession, and so was Southern California, especially around the San Bernardino Riverside area. It was crucial to hold California because of the Comstock load of silver up in Nevada, which was shipped out of San Francisco. So it was crucial that the Union hold California. So when the Confederates were threatening us, the Union had scant resources out here, but what they did have, they used well. I was invited to participate almost 20 years ago, and I said, God, this is great. And so probably a third of the people here are veterans. I found the camaraderie in the units here that they have that are on active duty. And other people are teachers, we have doctors and here, retired military teachers, sociologists, managers of companies, etc. All different walks of life all come together to participate. Most people are so used to sitting in front of their televisions or playing video games that they have no idea that this actually happened. And it's only 150 years ago. It's not a long time, especially when you go back, the Roman Empire was 2,000 years ago. This is really recent history, and I think the kids especially need to come out and see this and say, you know, that was really something, you know, that these people paid a price to have, you know, to have us where we are today.
It may look like a combat zone, but these Marines are just training for an upcoming mission in Afghanistan. At Yuma Proving Ground, they're going through a number of exercises to prepare them for the front lines.
Months prior to deployment, we cover everything from first aid to weapons handling to calling in CASVAC, and even some Marines get the opportunity to do close air support calls.
This will be Corporal Stephen Fennell's second deployment. He is one of many in Marine Wing Support Squadron 371 who participated in Wednesday's rifle firing exercise known as the Combat Marksmanship program. The Marines pivot left to right looking for possible threats that may approach or surround them, and then they fire their rifles at those targets.
In real life, you're not going to have that calm-controlled shooting from a stationary position, so we're actually to provide the new Marines that haven't deployed and haven't done this training before more accurate experience what they could expect in combat.
Right now it is well above 100 degrees, and this is what the Marines have to go through when they're out on the field. They have to carry this flak jacket, which could weigh up to 100 pounds. They also have to carry this M4 rifle, all to get them prepared for hostile territory.
It helps you because you're dealing with this climate constantly. When units from like Lejeune or other places, they're not used to it. It throws in that one more factor that they have to prepare for, and we're already ready for it.
Sergeant Mark Fender is getting ready to make this his first deployment. He says it'll be a challenge, but he'll be ready to serve with those beside him.
There's no other institution in the world that provides the discipline that the Marines provide, and it's just a great atmosphere. Brothers and sisters around you every day. It's awesome.